It's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Not as good as Gaza, but he's better than Shevchenko. Every morning he has vodka with his Kenko. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. You know, you guys heard the Spurs show a couple of nights ago. Will be familiar with this tune. It's actually quite an interesting chant. It's going to be hard to sing. It's definitely not in the same vein as, you know, well, I'm going to get sued for singing this, because what they don't sue me, whoever, you know, for using that, you know, Mary Poppins thing, then obviously, you know, if I sing K Sarah Sarah, you know, the Ledley King, oh, Ledley King, he's only got one knee, he's better than John Terry, oh, Ledley King. If I'm not going to sued by Walt Disney, I'm sure the K Sarah Sarah people will sue me. Interesting thing about John Terry, and he had the injury, and obviously now, you know, he's been charged by the CPS, and obviously he's waiting trial for that. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens, because Villas-Boas said I'm playing him. Now, whether that's him saying I'm backing him, I'm giving him my full support, you know, because he's got the excuse. Look, he's injured and he's not playing. But then he'll say, well, you would say that because he's got this thing over his head. You're worried about his mental fitness. So really, it's a real case of sink or swim. Really, if he goes out there, he'll have a 2-on-2. He'll have a barnstormer of a game or an absolute mare of a game. And thankfully for him, he's got Roman Pavlyuchenko to play against. So I think we all know what's going to happen there. It's going to be interesting. I think we can still grind out a result. I mean, Pav did score against them last season. You know, we didn't have, you know, Addy last season. I don't think Crouch played last for that game again when we drew 1-1. And yeah, I think we can beat them. It will be a tough win because essentially we'll be going up toe to toe. Although they're playing their 4-3-3, and I think we'll be going for like a 5-2 with like flying fullbacks kind of thing. It will be a rich much, you know, our midfield versus their midfield. You know, our 3 defenders versus their 3 attackers. Our 2 attackers versus their 2 defenders. It will literally be pretty much man for man. Our wing backs versus their fullbacks. It will be as toe to toe as you can possibly get. I actually would play Andros Townsend. If Gareth Bale isn't fit, then I play him. I think he has played there before. He's got potential, and at the end of the day, I remember 2 years ago when people thinking about Gareth Bale as this Jinx kind of player. He's never gonna win us a game. We'll never win a game with him in it, and now we can't win a game without him being in our side. I don't actually know what game it was that transformed him into being this, you know, that must-team player for us. There must be a first-team player for us. I can't. If any of you guys know it, then please let me know, because I know he's only 10. I don't think it was the Arsenal game, but there was a game that he just suddenly went from being the Jinx to being, well, the jewel really of our team. And this is long before the Inter Milan performance, long before that. I think Towns could do it. You never know. There are a lot of players that will have an incredible game and then never seen of again. People like Danny Rose and other players that they just have this amazing game, who no one even knew about, and suddenly they go on to have this glittering career. I mean, Owen Hargreaves, he had a superb career with Bayern Munich. You know, obviously he had the horrific injuries with Man United, but for, I don't know, was it 3-4 years? He was, you know, a mainstay of the Bayern Munich team and a pretty important cog in the Man United machine. Definitely going forward, I think the 3-5-2s, and I've been going on this. If I repeat points, I said in an earlier video podcast, I do apologise, but I think, you know, it's interesting that Harry said, "Oh no, I hope they don't, you know, I hope they don't play Frank Lampard." Frank Lampard is his nephew. He's not going to say anything bad about him, but there is, I don't know, there's something weird. Why would he want Frank Lampard to play? He's obviously trying to get to Villas-Boas' mind. There's a bit of, I don't know, he's trying to settle in because obviously Frank Lampard, you know, there has been a bit of tension because he's been dropped. Is he trying to stir a bit of discontent in the Chelsea ranks? You know, quite subtly, mind you, but I don't know. I mean, does Villas-Boas not play him? I mean, would I rather play Morelos or Lampard? I'd rather play Morelos, to be totally honest. You know, does he not play Lampard, so therefore playing what Harry wants? And then I think Sandro and Parker will do a lot better against Morelos and Ramirez than they would do against, say, I'm not feeling they do well against, don't get me wrong, against Ramirez and Lampard, but they do a lot better against Ramirez and Morelos than they would against Ramirez and Lampard. But, you know, because I think Lampard, he's got that ability to time his run really well, and he's got one hell of a shot. He's cool under pressure in terms of, you know, dead ball situations, free kicks, penalties, what have you. And I don't know, it just seems like a really interesting toe-for-toe slugging game. I think, you know, our 3 central defenders against their 3 attackers, our 3 midfielders versus their 3 midfielders, our wing backs versus their fullbacks, our 2 strikers versus their 2 strikers. I think it could be an interesting game. I really do. I think this is going to be one hell of a game. I mean, I'm not saying this is the game of the season. Having said that, it's probably one of the most shittest games you'll ever seen, but on a par with, I think it was, what was that game? Swansea, Aston Villa, and that was a pretty poor game. Mainly due to Villa, but who are probably one of the worst teams for me to watch. But definitely, yeah, like I said, it'd be either or, a real sink or swim game. I think it's either barnstormer or a real ball draw kind of thing. Ball draw slash 1-0. I mean, so what? Or a real barnstorm of a game. And I think a lot of it boils down to John Terry. Is he going to have a sink or swim game? I mean, obviously Villas-Boas just gone out and defended him, and now he's got to play him, and John Terry will either handle that pressure and bam, go forward and end up have a barnstorming performance, have a real crappy one, and obviously if he plays very poorly, that whole defensive line gets undermined. So I think it'll be an interesting one, really. I don't know how it's going to go. I mean, it's one of those games where you think, would you be happy with the draw? Not really. I mean, obviously you're at home, you want to win all your home games, but my God, that's going to be and honestly, if someone said to me, who would you rather play? I'd rather play Man City. I mean, I know they tonked us 6-1, but at least in Man City, essentially, when you're playing a very similar team to your own, I mean, I think ourselves and Chelsea are so similar, especially if we go to this 3-5-2, it will be the slightest margin, the slightest error, that'll be it. I'm going to go 1-0 to us. I think if Pav is playing and Adebayor isn't, I think Pav will get the goal. He will do nothing for the rest of the game, but he will get a goal. I would like to see us play Townsend. The reason I wouldn't play Pienaar is, first of all, as many of you know, I don't like this idea of inverse wingers. I've just never liked it. And I think for me, the only time inverse wingers ever works is if A, you've got an inverse winger on the other team, such as like Bayern Munich have with Robin and Ribery, and again, it's not something I go with. I just don't think, and I think Pienaar still a bit short of confidence. He may try too hard. I think Townsend will come in and he could do a really good job. I think he's played left back. That's the position he doesn't like playing. When I met him, I said, hopefully we'll get you see you on the wing rather than left back. He said, I hope so too. So I think this is a good compromise. I think because he can attack from deep, it's going to be interesting because will Ashley Cole, will Boss Winger want to come forward? A lot of the width will have to come through him, and it will be how those two players interact, how Kyle Walker and Ashley Cole interact. Whoever wins that battle, and whoever is able to, I think again, Ramo, I think that's his name, how you pronounce it, the ex-Barcelona, now Chelsea player, how he, the battle between him and Modric will be interesting, because I think we can definitely outmuscle him off the ball using Sandro and Parker, and hopefully give enough protection to Luka Modric to pass the ball. But man alive, I mean, I'm going to go for a 1-0 win because it will be it will be such a tight, this would be one of those decisions that are so razor thin. It'll be kind of like Frankie Edgar, Gary Maynard 2 or something. It could, you could see how Frank Maynard, Frankie Edgar when he said Gary Maynard won it, but it'll come down to a draw. I'm hoping it doesn't. I'm going to use my Spurs tent and glasses and go for a 1-0 win to us, but it'll be a toughie. Anyway, let's give a big shout out to I think Stookie, if he's coming down, Peter Stuxwich, and to Michael and Dev Tompkins, who are coming down all the way from Oldham again. They were there on Sunday. They're down there tomorrow night, and then come back 2:30 in the morning back to Oldham. You'll give them due credit for that, and hopefully, my big shout out to them. Check out topspurs.com, spursforum.co.uk, spursodyssey.com, THFC 1882, and on Friday, definitely if you can, check out Cartletry Captain. Some Americans that talk about Tottenham, they do get a lot of things wrong, surprisingly, but they are keen as mustard. And if you can, check out the Spurs show on there. They'll be doing the Stevie Perriman interview over the bank Christmas holidays. Obviously, you'll probably see me before the Boxing Day holiday, until when we play Norwich we play, and so I hope you've seen me before then. But if I don't do one of these podcasts, actually you will do. I'll do a Chelsea podcast after the game anyway. So to wish you guys very Merry Christmas and a great New Year. If you don't see my other video podcast between now and Christmas, And yeah, actually, I'll give a big shout out to my mate Peter Molnar. I can't say it in Croatians. Happy birthday, Brako. Sredan Rotterdam. I can't say it, but happy birthday, Brako. It was his birthday yesterday, and you're a day away from sharing a birthday of Spurs legend, Stevie Perryman. He's turning 60 today. Anyway, hope you win tomorrow. Come on, you Spurs.